welcome back to my kitchen. Tonight's going to be another good low-carb supper, so I thought I'd bring you along. First recipe is new. It was for Creole catfish, but since David don't eat catfish, now I do. I'm doing it with flounder, so we're going to do Creole Flounder. I'm hoping it's not going to be too spicy. So we're making tartar sauce to go with it. Never had spicy fish with tartar sauce, but I figure it could cool it off, you know. And then the low-carb squash is a recipe I found several years back when we tried to do keto for a while, and it's delicious. It's keto, low carb, and I did, when I was on Weight Watchers, I did Weight Watcherify it. It was good, but it wasn't the same. But you can lower the cream into like maybe fat-free half and half, you know, and do the same thing. It won't be as rich, but it'll still be good. It's just a new way to make squash that ain't fried or just sauteed. And then now beans, I'm making some lima beans. They're not low carb, but in the scheme of my day they are, because I've hardly had any carbs all day. And like, I think a third a cup is only 9 carbs, and I'm shooting for no more than 50 a day, and I've not been tracking, but I can guarantee you I am nowhere close to 50. I know what I eat, and I'm hardly eating any carbs, and so I know I'm not getting close to 50. So I do have room for a serving of beans. And David, I'm not gonna make him go without beans, because we both really love them, and I'm not gonna make him completely give them up. So I figure a time or two a week that'll work. So that's what we're having today for supper. So let's eat, y'all. First thing we're gonna do is get our beans going. I love making my beans in the Instant Pot. This is just half a bag of dried lima beans. I'm gonna add just a little bit of my bacon grease and about 6 cups of water. I like to bring it up to almost full. Sometimes you have more liquid than you need, but I'd rather not. I'd rather not take my chances. This is what I'm trying to say. Now, these I cook for 25 minutes. I let this completely, this is why I start them early, because I let them completely release their own pressure until they're completely done. I don't do it with this right here, because beans will sputter and spew out. Beans are a mess, so I always just let my beans sit there. And even if you do it, you know, I'm doing it right now like 2 hours before I have to have supper ready, but they'll stay hot the whole time if I just leave them sitting in there. So that's what we're doing. And next up, we'll work on probably getting our squash in the oven. Okay, so we're going to make this squash casserole, because this got to bake like 40 minutes, so we need to go and get it in the oven. I'm melting 4 tablespoons of butter while I chop up this squash. We need 6 cups, and I'm the worst judge of like how much squash turns into what you need. Chances are I'm going to use all this, whether it's enough or not enough. But I wanted to show you, this is what I have, is like 3 decent sized squash, and I'm going to put it in this measuring bowl so we can see and help you get a gauge. This is almost 2 pounds worth of squash. I looked on the back of the package, it said 1.89 pounds. So we just want to cut it into like little half moon pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all that, and then I'll come back. Okay, what I have here is like between, you can't tell, it's close to 6 cups as you can get. So I'm going to say between 1.5 to 2 pounds of squash is plenty. So let's move over here to the frying pan. pot, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to add all of our squash. And about 1 small onion chopped. Salt and pepper it, or use the house seasoning, whichever one you like. And we're just going to stir this around and saute it just until it starts to get tender. We don't want to cook it all the way because it's going to finish cooking in the oven. Okay, so the squash has just started getting tender, and I put it in a sprayed 9x13 dish. Just spread it out in there. Now, what I have in here is 1 cup of just heavy whipping cream and 3 eggs, and I've already beat that together. And we're going to add a little bit more seasoning to the cream mixture. And all we have to do is pour it over the top of our squash. Just kind of make sure it's down in there. And then just your everyday grated Parmesan cheese, a 1/4 cup, that we're just going to sprinkle over the top. This goes in a 350 degree oven. I'm sorry, I meant to mute my TV. I bet you can't guess what's on. If you know what's on, comment below. But this goes in a 350 degree oven for 40 minutes. So while we're waiting on the squash to cook, we're going to make us some tartar sauce. Now, I have a Weight Watcherified recipe on my website where I pinned down some measurements. This, I'm not going to do any measurements. I'm not going to do much. Just start with, and of course I'm using Duke's, start with how much ever mayonnaise you think you're going to need for how much ever tartar sauce you're going to need if you're making it just by taste. So that's about, because David doesn't eat it. And then if you're not watching your sugar, you can use regular relish, sweet relish. But since we're on low carb, I do have this no sugar added already in the refrigerator. Then just, and this is all to taste, just a little bit of lemon juice. And a pinch of onion powder. Might take a little more of that. So I'm just going to stir it up and taste it. But I want to go ahead and make it now so to have time to sit in the refrigerator and get its flavors going before it's time to eat. Let me see what we need. Well, I'm going to tell you right here, I don't need a thing. That come out come out perfect. I tell you, I have made so much tartar sauce in my life because me and the first used to have big old fish fries all the time. So I guess I just have the tartar sauce second sight. So that is what I put in mine, and you just do it until it tastes like you like it. So now we're just gonna let this sit in the fridge until it's time to eat. Okay, here is the low carb squash casserole after 40 minutes. So it's going to get nice and browned on top. Let me see if I can show you. See how it's set? You want it to be set. You don't want it to be runny. So now we're going to go over here and start on our fish. Ooh, I was just talking and telling y'all, and did not even have my camera on. So in this, the breading part is a 1/2 cup of almond flour, I got stuff on my hands, 1/2 tablespoon of Creole seasoning, I'm just using Tony's, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, which I didn't realize we were using too. I have a pound of flounder. You can use catfish. 2 eggs. I'm going to dip both sides in the egg and then in the bread. Now I've heated up my pan. It should be hot. Yes, it is hot. Let's slide over. And then we're going to just pan fry these. We're not going to deep fry them like I am used to doing. And I'm only going to do as many as will fit in the pan. Ooh, I got that up too high. As per usual, I'm probably burning it. Now I can deep fry a fish like nobody's business. Fish can't poo. But y'all know I cooked too high. I don't think this is going to be enough breading. Just to tell you the truth. I could be wrong. So the pound of fillets is not really that much. So we just want to brown these on both sides until the fish is done. Alright, now I think this fish is done. Let me show you. This is how I always drain my fish. I put a piece of foil on the bottom, and then I save all my flour and sugar bags specifically to drain fish on. Better hurry, I'm burning it. And I put a paper towel on top, but that little extra is falling apart on me. That little extra bit of the bag, especially when you're deep frying, really does help soak in a lot more of the grease than just the paper towel alone. So now what I'm going to do is add another bit of oil to the pan and fry up these last 3 pieces, and we will be ready to plate us up some supper. I just wanted to show you the beans. They've been sitting here for 1 hour and 48 minutes. And see, there's no pressure. It obviously went down in that amount of time. But you see how hot they still are? So you don't have to worry about them cooling off. So there's our lima beans. I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to have a half a cup. That's like, I'm not sure how many carbs right off the bat. I just remember how much 1/3 cup was. But since I've hardly had any carbs today, that's what we'll go for. Alright, so here's my plate of food. I'll have to put the carbs on the screen because right off the bat I'm not sure. And since we're not doing keto, low carb does include some beans because the rest of my day has been very low. Now I've already tasted this fish. I'm going to taste it without my tartar sauce. That is really some good fish for something that has not been deep fried and made in almond flour. That's really good fish. Only thing I think it needs is salt, but I think everything needs salt. Here is the baked squash. You can see how it's set up, sort of like a macaroni and cheese, which is what it is. Milk and eggs, cream and eggs. I don't need to taste that because I know it's good. So I will have the carbs on the screen, and there you have it. I'm glad y'all came along with me tonight, and I hope you're having a good evening, morning, whatever time of day you're watching this, and I will see you on my next video.